Good morning, my dear students. Welcome to the class on history. In today's class, we are going to deal with the remaining part of the chapter called Reformation. We had completed the causes for the Reformation, the causes that led to the Reformation. There are two important causes that we have learned already. Today, what we are going to learn is about what are the contributions given by the person called Martin Luther. This is a topic that we are going to discuss today. So, Martin Luther was born in 16th century. He was a German clergyman, a German priest, and a professor of theology. So he was born, so we are talking about Martin Luther and his contribution. So he was born in 16th century. He was a German priest and he was a professor of theology. And what did he do, or how did he become a popular? Because he became popular because he began to criticize the church and accused the church the sale of indulgences. I hope you remember the term called letter of indulgences. So he criticized the practices of the church and especially the sale of indulgences. And in 1517, he had written 95 theses that describe the differences between the beliefs and the practices of the church. So he had written 95 theses describing the differences between the beliefs of the church and the practices that are done by the church. He showed the people these are the differences between the beliefs and the practices of the church, and he nailed on the church of the Wittenberg. He went to a church and he nailed those differences, those 95 thesis, and he nailed on the church door at Wittenberg. And in 1512, before writing these 95 theses, 1512, he undertook a pilgrimage to Rome, and he saw the luxurious life led by the clergy, the priests, and he became a strong opponent of the church. Because he was not happy, and he told the people this is not how the church must be practicing, and this is not the way how the clergymen must be living their lives. So the Holy Roman Emperor Charles V requested by the Pope, he told Luther to defend his case. And where was it done? In 1521. The Diet of Worms. The Diet of Worms, which means it is a council of princes and high dignitaries. So he was invited. He was called by the Roman Emperor Charles V, requested by the Pope to defend his case or defend his standing in Diet of Worms, which means it is a council of princes and high dignitaries. And what was the order given by this Diet of Worms? They told him to burn his writings and outlaw him. But since he had the support of German rulers, they could do nothing to this particular person called Martin Luther. Since he became a strong opponent of the church, the Pope requested Roman Emperor Charles V to defend his case, or told Martin Luther to defend his case where the Diet of Worms. So what was the decision taken by this particular council? They said that his teachings, his writings must be burned and he must be outlawed from there. But what happened? What did save him? What saved him was the support given by the German rulers. So Martin Luther began so-called a Protestant movement. He began the Protestant movement, and he undertook the translation of Bible into German, and he set up an independent church and traveled extensively to different parts to communicate his message to the people. So he began the Protestant movement and he began to translate Bible into German language. He set up independent church and traveled extensively to different parts. And in 1555, there was something called Lutheranism, which became a legal form of Christianity, known as the Peace of Augsburg. Okay, Lutheranism 1555. Lutheranism 1555. Lutheranism, it is a legal form of Christianity and also known as the Peace of Augsburg. Okay, and there was a treaty signed between two important people. Okay, that's what we are going to learn now. The treaty that was signed between the Roman Catholic Church, the treaty that was signed between the Roman Catholic Church and the most important thing called there was a treaty that was signed between the Roman Catholic Church and the Schalmatic League. That league includes Luther and the German princes. So there was a treaty signed between Schalmatic League and the Roman Catholic Church. And what was the decision? The southern states of Germany will be loyal to the Catholic Church. The southern states and the northern states. The southern states will be loyal to the Catholic Church and the northern states will be following Lutheranism. So this is an important treaty that was signed between the church and the Schalmatic League. Okay? So that's about the contribution given by Martin Luther. So remember, he is the one who began this particular so-called Protestant movement in Germany, and the contributions given by this great person. Now let's see about the next topic, that is the Counter-Reformation. Counter-Reformation. What do you mean by the term called Counter-Reformation? The dedicated Christians, the faithful Christians, the Pope and the clergy began the Reformation within the church. It means the Pope and the priests and the dedicated Christians felt that there must be some reforms in the church. So what we are doing is not something proper. So we need to have some reformation within the church, and that is known as a Counter-Reformation. The reformation that happened, that took place within the church, is known by the term called Counter-Reformation. And 1545, we have got this particular Council of Trent by Pope Paul III. Pope Paul III called the Church Council at Trent. That's known as the Council of Trent, that happened between 1545 to 1563. Council of Trent. Now, what are the decisions taken at this particular council? The first one, there were a number of changes that happened in the Catholic Church. They said we must make some changes in the church. That's the first decision. Second, condemned the irresponsible religious life led by the clergy. They were not happy with the irresponsible religious life led by the clergy. The council was not happy. And they gave a ban on books against the Catholic teaching. If there was a book against the Catholic teaching, they kept a ban on those books. And he expanded its doctrines on the light of Reformation, which means they made some changes in the doctrines based on the Reformation that was happening in the church. And the Pope will be the head of the Catholic Church and will be the final interpreter of Christian doctrine. If a Christian faith has to be interpreted, it has to be done only by the Pope. And they established seminaries to educate and train the priests. Remember the chapter we have come across the topic where the priests or the clergy were not educated properly. So they thought of establishing seminaries for what? To educate and to train the priests. And they forbade the church they told the priests that forbade the church from charging fees for conducting religious services. If you want to conduct a religious service, it must be free. You should not charge any fee for it. And advocated local language for preaching in the church. You go to a place and you talk in your language, and if the people do not understand, it is totally waste of time. So the church advocated the local language for preaching in the church. So that's what made the term called Council of Trent and Counter Reformation. The Reformation that happened within the church, that is known as the Counter Reformation, and the decisions taken at the Council of Trent. That happened between 1545 to 1563. Hope it is clear. The next one is the Society of Jesus. Two more topics. The Society of Jesus. Society of Jesus. It was founded by Ignatius Loyola, a Spanish noble person. Ignatius Loyola, a Spanish noble, and he founded the Society of Jesus. He was professor of theology in the Sorbonne University, and the Society of Jesus was accepted by the Holy Father, the Pope, and this particular society called the Society of Jesus was able to win back many people back to Christianity or to Roman Catholic Church. That's about the topic called the Society of Jesus, founded by Ignatius Loyola. Next person is Saint Francis Xavier. Saint Francis Xavier. I hope you must be knowing everything about this great person. He was the follower of Ignatius Loyola, and he traveled to China and Japan to spread Christianity. He came to India, and his mortal remains in Goa, and his dedicated services, the dedicated services done by St. Francis Xavier, put back the credibility of Roman Catholic Church. Because of the services, because of the actions done by St. Francis Xavier, he was able to get back the credibility of Roman Catholic Church. So these are the things that I wanted to teach you today. First one is about the contributions given by Martin Luther. Next is about the Counter Reformation, the decisions taken at the Council of Trent, Society of Jesus founded by Ignatius Loyola. The last one, the contributions of St. Francis Xavier. I hope it is clear for you. Go through the video once again and understand the explanation properly. Okay, children, take care.